My brother's wife announced it in front of everyone. She tapped her champagne flute 3 times, stood up at the head table, and said into the microphone, "I just want to take a moment to thank my sister-in-law, Olivia. She put down the venue deposit because, well, she doesn't have a wedding of her own to save up for." She laughed. My brother laughed. His new in-laws laughed. The whole reception hall laughed. I smiled. I picked up my water glass. I did not say a single word. That night, I canceled the $14,000 deposit transfer scheduled for the following Monday. By midnight, I had 43 missed calls. I need to back up. I am 31 years old. I work in healthcare administration, not glamorous, but steady, and I have always been careful with money because I had to be. My parents divorced when I was 9. My brother, Caleb, is 4 years older than me. After the divorce, we lived with our mom, and our dad came in and out of the picture the way dads sometimes do when they would rather start over than stay. Mom worked 2 jobs for most of my childhood. I learned early that if I wanted something, I was the one who had to figure out how to get it. Caleb learned something different. He learned that if he waited long enough, someone would figure it out for him. I do not say that to be cruel, it is just true. He was charming and funny and everyone loved him, and somehow that always translated into someone else picking up whatever he dropped. When we were kids, it was our mom. When he got older, it became a rotation. A girlfriend, a friend, a coworker, and eventually, me. I did not mind for a long time. He is my brother. I loved him. I told myself that is what family does. He started dating Hannah 3 years ago. I tried to like her. I genuinely tried. She was pretty in a way that made you feel like you were supposed to comment on it, and she had this habit of laughing at things that were not jokes, not nervous laughter, something else. Something that always landed just slightly wrong. But Caleb was happy, or at least he said he was, and I kept my mouth shut. They got engaged 14 months before the wedding. 2 weeks after the engagement party, which I helped organize, Caleb called me. "So we're thinking the Ashford," he said. For the venue, I knew the Ashford. It was a renovated estate about 40 minutes outside the city. Beautiful, also expensive. "That sounds really nice," I said. "Yeah. Thing is, they want a deposit to hold the date, 30% up front." I waited. Hannah and I are a little tight right now. Her student loans just went into repayment and my truck needed a new transmission last month. We were wondering if you could front the deposit and we'd pay you back in installments. I asked how much the deposit was. $14,000. I was quiet for a moment. "Olivia, we'd pay you back. We already have a payment plan written out, $500 a month starting in January." I want to be honest about why I said yes. It was not because I had $14,000 sitting around doing nothing. I had that money earmarked, some for an emergency fund, some toward a down payment I had been slowly building for 2 years. Saying yes meant slowing that down. I said yes because I thought that was what a good sister did. I said yes because Caleb sounded embarrassed asking, and I did not want him to feel embarrassed. I said yes because I told myself it would be fine. I transferred the deposit to the Ashford the following week. I did not ask for anything in writing. I know how that sounds now. The payment plan lasted 4 months. $500 in January, $500 in February, $500 in March, $250 in April, with a text that said, "Short this month, sorry, we'll catch up." And then, nothing. I texted Caleb in May. He said they had a lot going on with the wedding planning. I texted again in June. He said Hannah had a medical bill come up and things were tight. I said I understood, but could we figure out a schedule? He said yes, absolutely. He would call me this weekend. He did not call that weekend, or the next. I stopped bringing it up. I told myself I would wait until after the wedding. In the meantime, I was folded into the wedding preparations, the way you get folded into things when you are the organized one in the family and also the one who is owed money and therefore, somehow, obligated. I addressed save the dates. I picked up centerpiece supplies when Hannah said she was too busy. I sat through 4 hours of cake tastings and pretended to have opinions about buttercream versus fondant. I did all of it because I thought, when this is over, things will go back to normal. Caleb and I will settle the balance and I will move on. I was a bridesmaid, which I had not technically been asked to be so much as informed of. Hannah texted me a photo of a dusty rose dress from a bridal website and said, "This is what the girls are wearing, can you order it?" I ordered it. I paid for it. No one offered to reimburse me. 2 weeks before the wedding, Hannah called me about the florist. There had been a miscommunication and the florist needed an additional deposit to hold the arrangements. $800. She asked if I could cover it and they would pay me back with the Ashford money. I said yes. I do not know why I kept saying yes. I think by that point I had so much invested, financially, emotionally, in terms of time and labor, that saying no felt like it would break something I was not ready to break yet. I paid the florist deposit. I smiled at the bridal shower. I gave a toast at the rehearsal dinner that made my mom cry. The wedding was on a Saturday in September. The weather was perfect. The Ashford looked exactly like the pictures. Ivy on the stone walls, white lights in the trees, that particular kind of beauty that costs a lot of money and is designed to make you forget that fact. I stood at the altar in the dusty rose dress and watched my brother marry Hannah, and I felt genuinely happy for approximately 45 minutes. Then came the reception. The dinner was lovely. The speeches from Hannah's side were lovely. My mom gave a small speech that was warm and a little rambling and perfect. Then one of Hannah's bridesmaids gave a speech, and then Hannah's maid of honor, and then Hannah stood up herself. She thanked her parents. She thanked her new in-laws. She thanked the bridesmaids. And then she said, "I also want to give a special shout out to my new sister-in-law, Olivia. She covered our venue deposit because, bless her heart, she doesn't have a wedding of her own to plan. So she had some extra funds lying around." She winked. "I guess it works out for everyone," she laughed. Caleb laughed. His new father-in-law raised his glass, and the table nearest to us, maybe 30 people, laughed along with them. I heard it happen. I watched my mom's smile go stiff. I watched the woman next to me, one of Caleb's co-workers I had met once, glance at me with something between pity and secondhand embarrassment. I did not react. I picked up my fork. I took a bite of the salmon. I looked at the centerpieces I had driven across town to pick up 3 weeks earlier. I sat with it. I had a choice in that moment. I could stand up. I could say something. I could make a scene at my brother's wedding in front of 200 people. Or I could be the person I had always been. The quiet one. The capable one. The one who handles things. And I could handle it differently. I chose the second option. Not out of weakness. I want to be clear about that. I chose it because I knew exactly what I was going to do, and making a scene would have made it messier. I got through the rest of the reception. I danced once. I hugged my mom. I told Caleb and Hannah congratulations, and I meant part of it. I drove home and I sat in my car in the parking garage for a while, and I let myself feel all of it. And then I went upstairs and I opened my laptop. The deposit to the Ashford had been structured so that the remaining 60%, the balance, was due in 2 installments. I had been added as the emergency billing contact when Caleb forgot to submit a form last spring and asked me to handle it quickly. I was listed as an authorized contact on the account. The transfer for the second installment, another $9,000 from Caleb's account with me listed as guarantor if he defaulted, was scheduled for the following Monday. I called the venue's billing line first thing Sunday morning. I explained that I needed to be removed as guarantor on the account effective immediately. The woman I spoke to was professional and a little confused. She said they would send a form. I said I would sign it electronically that same day. I also sent an email to the Ashford's event manager noting that any future billing inquiries should be directed solely to the account holder, Caleb. Then I texted my brother. "Hey, I had myself removed as guarantor on the Ashford balance. Billing will contact you directly. Also removing myself from the florist account tomorrow. Let me know when you want to work out a repayment schedule for the deposit and the bridesmaid expenses. No rush this week. Congratulations again." I put the phone face down on the nightstand. I made coffee. I read for an hour. Then I looked at my phone. 11 missed calls from Caleb. 4 from Hannah. 2 from a number I did not recognize that turned out to be Hannah's mother. 1 from my mom, which was different. I called her back immediately. "What happened?" she said. I told her. She was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "You should have told me sooner about the money." I said, "I know." "What Hannah said was cruel," she said. "That was cruel, and I want you to know I saw it." I said that meant something to me. It did. Caleb texted at some point late Sunday night. I read it the next morning. "Olivia, I need you to call me. We have a situation with the Ashford. They're saying there's an issue with the guarantor paperwork, and if it's not resolved by tomorrow, the balance comes due immediately, and we don't have that liquid right now. Please call me." I read it twice. I thought about the cake tastings, the save the dates, the centerpieces, the florist deposit, the dress I bought and no one offered to pay for, the payment plan that stopped in April, the phone call in June that never happened. I thought about a microphone and a champagne flute and 30 people laughing. I texted back, "I'm available Thursday to talk through the repayment schedule for what's already owed. For the Ashford balance, that's between you and the venue now. I hope you can work it out." He called 6 times. Hannah called twice. Hannah's mom left a voicemail saying that I was being vindictive and that this was not the time for family drama, that Caleb and Hannah were on their honeymoon and I was ruining it. I saved the voicemail. Thursday came. Caleb called at the time I suggested. He did not sound like himself. Less easy, less smooth. He sounded tired. He said they had worked something out with the Ashford, a short-term payment arrangement. He said it had been stressful. He said he wished I had handled things differently. I let him finish. Then I said, "I need to talk about what Hannah said at the reception." He went quiet. "It was in front of 200 people," I said. "It was about money that I lent you, that you have not paid back, that I lent because I wanted to help. She used it to make a joke at my expense." He said he knew it was not ideal. He said Hannah had not meant it the way it sounded. He said she was nervous and sometimes said things without thinking. I said, "I've heard that about her before." Another silence. "I'm not looking for a fight," I said. "I'm looking for a conversation about what happens next. Not just the money. Though yes, the money too. I want to know whether you think what happened was okay." He said he did not think it was okay. He said it slowly, like he was testing the weight of it. He said he should have said something in the moment. I said, "Yeah, you should have. We did not fix everything on that call. I did not expect to." But he said he would talk to Hannah, and he said he was sorry, and when he said it, I believed him. Not all the way, but enough. We set up a new repayment plan. This time I typed it up and sent it as a document, and he signed it electronically, and I saved it in a folder on my desktop. The repayment started the following month. $350, first of every month. Not the $500 originally promised. We recalibrated based on what he said he could actually manage, but it came on time. And the month after that. And the month after that. Hannah and I did not speak for a while. We were in the same room at Thanksgiving, and we were polite to each other in the way you are polite to someone when you are both choosing not to start something in front of your mom. About 6 months later, she texted me. It was short. It said, "I've been thinking about what I said at the reception. I want you to know I'm sorry. It was a cheap thing to say and you didn't deserve it." I read it 3 times. I typed a response and deleted it. I typed another one. I wrote, "I appreciate that. Thank you." I did not say it was fine. It was not fine. But I also did not want to carry it anymore. And accepting an apology does not have to mean pretending something did not happen. It can just mean you are done letting it take up space. I closed the message and set the phone down and went back to what I was doing. I was making a grocery list. Coffee, eggs, that brand of pasta I like. Maybe flowers if they had the good ones at the market. Small things. Mine. I did not need her to fully understand what she had done. I did not need Caleb to spend the rest of his life making it up to me. I did not need the 30 people at that table to know what the joke actually cost. I just needed to stop paying for things that were not mine to carry, so I did. I have thought a lot about what it actually costs to keep saying yes when you should say no. Not the money, though, yes, $14,000 and a bridesmaid dress and a florist deposit, all of it real. I mean the other cost. The one that doesn't show up on a bank statement. The cost of watching yourself get smaller, month after month, because you decided that keeping the peace was worth more than keeping your own sense of what was fair. I was good at that math for a long time. I told myself it was generosity. I told myself that people who love each other absorb each other's hard moments, and that Caleb's hard moments just happened to come with dollar amounts attached. I was patient, and I was capable, and I was proud of both those things. And I think, honestly, I was also a little afraid. Afraid that if I said no, I would become the difficult one, the selfish one, the sister who wouldn't help when it mattered. What I understand now is that there is a difference between being generous and being used. Generosity is something you choose freely, with clear eyes, knowing what you are giving and why. What I was doing, co-signing silently, absorbing the missed payments, driving across town for centerpieces, buying a dress no one offered to reimburse, that was not generosity. That was accommodation that had gone on so long it looked like love. And what Hannah did at that microphone was not an accident. That kind of cruelty does not slip out by mistake. It comes from a place that has already decided you do not matter enough to protect. What I am most proud of is not that I canceled the transfer. That part was easy, honestly. What I am most proud of is that I did not do it in anger. I sat in my car for a while first. I let myself feel it, and then I acted from a clear, quiet place, not to punish anyone, but because continuing would have meant agreeing, silently, that what happened was acceptable. There is something important in that distinction. Reaction is easy. Anyone can react. What takes actual effort, actual intelligence, is slowing down enough to understand what you are really choosing and why. I wanted my action to mean something. I wanted it to come from the part of me that knew my own worth, not the part that was hurt and wanted to make sure they knew it too. I think about the repayment plan I typed up and sent as a document, the one Caleb actually signed. I think about how different that was from the original plan. The verbal promise, the goodwill, the assumption that love was enough to make people follow through. It was not naivety exactly. It was just that I had not yet learned that loving someone and holding them accountable are not opposites. They can exist in the same relationship. They have to, if the relationship is going to survive reality. Caleb and I are okay now. Not the way we were before. I do not think we can go back to that, and I am not sure I want to. But okay in a way that feels more honest. He knows where I stand. I know what I will and won't absorb. There is a kind of respect in that we did not have before, even when things were easier. I used to think that being strong meant holding everything together no matter what. I know now that strength is also knowing when to stop holding things that were never yours to carry in the first place.